Just sitting here painting up some of my Valentine's Guardians, and I got to thinking about Valentine's Day and about all of the hearts and flowers, and then I realised that probably the most authentic thing you could put on a Valentine's card would be the severed head of a priest. Not one of the Hallmark's bestsellers. The reason for this is because the original Valentine was a priest in Roman times, 3rd century Rome. You've got Emperor Claudius on the throne, and he decides that his soldiers, they fight better and they're more likely to join the army if they're young single men. So he decides, in his infinite wisdom, that he's going to ban marriage. So he decides to ban marriage for young people. Obviously, you can imagine this didn't go down too well with the young folk. This is where Valentine comes in. He was one of the early Christian priests, and he defied the emperor and decided to marry the young folk despite the emperor. Now, the emperor found out, had him imprisoned, and eventually had him beheaded. So the story goes that while Valentine the priest was in prison, he fell for the jailer's daughter, fell in love with her, and before he was going to be executed, he wrote her a handwritten note and he signed it, "From your Valentine," which is one of the earliest records of that phrase. The feast of Valentine's being on February 14th, it's also an extension of a Roman pagan festival of Lupercalia, which was to celebrate the Roman god of agriculture, Fauna. Part of the festivities for this was that all of the young women would put their names into a cauldron, and all of the young men would take those names out at random, and the couples would then shack up for a year until the next festival and see how they got on. Sometimes those arrangements would turn out to be successful, they'd have marriages. So it was a Christianized version of this sort of festival. During the Middle Ages, it's also thought that February 14th was the beginning of the mating season for birds in the Northern Hemisphere. So it was considered a suitable day of romance. The birds would all be out doing what birds and bees get up to. So, as I say, the idea of Valentine's, and just a little thought that when you sign your next card, that you're carrying on a tradition from, well, ancient Rome, really. Just don't behead your local priest. That, I'm sure, is frowned upon.